Hello and welcome to another episode of Behind the Name, episode 4, with our guest today, current Bradford Bull, Ronan Michael. Thank you for joining us, mate, today.
Cheers for having us on, lads. Obviously been a long time coming. I'm excited to chew the fat with you two.
Well, gas, mate, pleased, delighted to get you on today, and yeah, we're going to go for everything, business, rugby, coffee, obviously, of course, hair, and everything in between, pal. So, yeah, I just wanted to sort of start off, throw kind of a question straight in there that we asked to most people. Obviously, you've been around rugby league for a bit of time now. Who's the hardest player you've ever played against?
That's a tough question to start off with, I must say, but like initially what springs to mind and what I say to a lot of people and a lot of people ask me this question is 2022 Rugby League World Cup facing New Zealand, number 1 ranked team going into the tournament, and you obviously have very special players throughout that whole team. You have front rowers, you have Jadaria Hargreaves, you have Jason Traharis, but the hardest player I thought personally to play against was Joey Manning. And that's because he can run over you. He's not a small thing, but he's the big thing. He can run around you. He's fast, and he can sidestep you. So you don't know which way he's gonna go. You don't know what he's gonna do. Do you know what I mean? So you're thinking that when you're forward, you're like, oh, I don't want this fella to mug me off here. Like, I don't want him to come off his left foot and me to be nowhere to be seen. But equally, he can just go straight past you, or he can go straight over the top of you if he wants to. So like, yeah, Joey Mann is a freaky player. So he was a difficult player to play against, to say the least.
Like that, mate. It's a great start. And to be fair, I've heard you reference like Warrior Hargreaves and stuff before. Just touching on that, I remember listening to one of your pods once before, and you spoke about, to be fair, I would have stitches because you talked about sort of like going into the camp, and then next minute you were facing up against the Kiwis. And even you talk us through like the legal to, for reference, obviously you played for Ireland, you play at KC. You play at KC Bull Stadium?
Well, I played at Headingley.
Headingley,
Headingley is a special place in my heart because of that day. And I also made the Super League debut at Headingley. It was behind closed doors, so we played Wigan, but it was at Headingley because there was only a couple of neutral venues. But yeah, the lead up to the World Cup was special. It was like I had that in my head from the second the World Cup got announced, and then it got postponed from 21 to 22. So I was buzzing. I was just like, right, we're finally in camp. But that season, actually, I went through a syndesmosis surgery, so I did my cinders, and I was coming back from that. So, like, I wouldn't say, like, going into the tournament that I was at my peak. Like, I was still, like, it was my first major surgery. I probably had that a little bit in the back of my head. And I didn't get to play against Jamaica, and then I didn't get to play against Lebanon. But against Lebanon, Liam Bourne got banned, Jeremy Jolliffe got banned, and we're appealing his ban, and Jed, the head coach, pulled me in, and he goes, Ronan, we're appealing Jim's ban here, but if we don't get off, mate, you're going to start against the Kiwis. And I'm like, holy... Like, I got
so not even on the bench. You were starting, were you? Really?
I'm starting against the Kiwis. I think I've got to play front row or 13, I'm not too sure, but and he goes, if not, you're going to be 18th man. So the lads are saying, like, you know, in blackjack, if you got an ace and 7, you're 8 or 18. So the boys are calling me blackjack, wanting me up and that. You know what I mean? It was mental though, like, to think about, because obviously I'm 22 years old at the time. Like, I'm about to start against the Kiwis, which I ended up doing because we didn't get off the ban. He was never going to get off the ban. I was just like, I'm not even made the 17 for the first 2 games again. Way easier nations, and then I'm facing the Haka and. Mate, honestly, it was the best weekend and the best day of my life. Like, I can say hands down, that was unbelievable. Just the experience, facing the Haka. Like, I wouldn't have said, like, I was very experienced. Like, I'm much more experienced as a player now than I was then. Mate, I played the 35 minutes in the first half against Kiwis, got a little glow, went back on, and in the second half, I had a decent stint in the middle. I'm playing against literally the best. Like, yes, Tapani, Maria Hargreaves, James Fisher-Harris. The team was absolutely stacked. And Big Nelson coming off the bench, you're thinking, oh my, like, this is a freaky team. And I'm starting against them, and I was just like this was my dream. All me mates were in the crowd dressed as leprechaun. There was about 13,000 in Headingley. It was just unbelievable. And of that 13,000, honestly, it felt like the whole stadium was for Ireland. We went 2-0 up. We got a penalty, went 2-0 up, mate. You'd swear we won the World Cup. It was mental. 2-0, we still getting pumped in there. It was about 48-12 or something like that in the end. But, like, that 2-0 up, mate, it was the biggest rush ever. And it was just like, wow. unbelievable. So yeah, that was a pretty special moment for myself.
What's Haka like? Was it scary? Was it blood scary?
Yeah. What is going through your head at that time?
Yeah, I was a bit. I think I was a bit in awe, and I was like, it gives you a mad adrenaline rush when you're facing it, and like the whole time in camp, I was like, lads, I'm gonna walk it down. I'm gonna walk, but like you're playing for Ireland, like you can't walk the hacker down to get 50 points spot on you. Like I was only winding the boys up, do you know what I mean? And like I think they thought it was a bit serious, so like I think someone said, Ronan, like, we're not going to walk that. And I was like, obviously, we're not going to walk the hacker down. But like, let's call a spade a spade. We went in that game to have a red hot day. But mate, if we beat the Kiwis, that would have been the freakiest upset of all time. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. So as I said, we're playing for Ireland. When you sat facing that hacker, it's just like it's mental. It's mental, and your heart beating it. But it's so like it focuses you as well. It's like you're locked in shoulder to shoulder, and you're like, right, let's go. And it is a special moment. If anybody gets to face the hacker, it's so special. And like New Zealand, like all the lads from New Zealand, they're just such good professionals, and it's so good. Like just seeing them perform it, and how much it means to them, and like obviously getting to face it, it's just insane.
Unbelievable. Yeah, that is class. Obviously, the story to tell there, it is literally an amazing story to tell in it, to be able to go play at Headingley, which is easily, and you'll probably say it's one of the best out-and-out rugby league grounds that you can play at. But to have also that friends, family there, just there must have been that immense pride, obviously, as an Irishman yourself, which I wanted to obviously touch on. So well documented that you're the second Irish player to play. Is Brian Conor breathing?
Brian Connor's the first. Brian Sowell's the first.
Obviously yourself, you still spoke very openly about that before. What's that feeling like? Also, not just as a professional in Super League, but then, as you know, with Ireland, Scotland, Wales, there's a lot of sort of heritage players, if you like, that are going in through grandparents, parents, which equally it still means a lot to them, but to you it must just be that something with that little bit extra. Balbriggan, is it? Obviously, I know you put obviously a lot about that. Still, obviously, go back over there. I see a lot of time. So yeah, mate, I just want to know a little bit about sort of like what it means to you as a proud Irishman.
Yeah, 100%. Well, home for me, Balbriggan, obviously, it's still where the family live now, and it means like Wales means so much to me, and I genuinely believe that I've been put on this earth to share my journey through rugby league and share about where I'm from, because like without speaking down on where I'm from, like nobody's done what I've done. Like no one's come from Ireland, and besides Brian Canny, no one's been on this journey, and I feel like I dare say Brian Canny can even come through an academy like I did. And I feel like now in the modern era with social media and with just the voice that I have as well, I feel like I'd be selfish to not share that with other people. Like home means so much to me, and getting to fly the flag for Ireland. There's no other Irish player who's come and been in like a Super League system and signed a Super League deal and played Super League. So getting to share that journey and obviously, I don't know, be a part of history as such it's so special. But more so, it's just like there's people back home who believe that the dream dies when they don't make it in rugby union. And I am literal proof that that's not the case. You know, it's the most unorthodox story that has ever been told, and I know for a fact that it's a combination of hard work and luck. You know, and there is a bit of right place, right time, and equally there's a lot of hard work that went in behind the scenes, so that when you end up in the right place at the right time, you can take your opportunity. Because if I came over to Huddersfield 8 years ago and I wasn't fit, strong, able to catch a rugby ball, they just said, "All right, nice one. There's our flight back. See you later." Do you know what I mean? So
That's a do.
it's an interesting combination. But where I'm from, as I said, it means the world to me, and I love getting to share this journey and getting to share about where I'm from, and hopefully like more people back home can follow along, and equally, hopefully a few more people can get a little bit inspired by what I do. You know.
I love that, and I sort of don't really want to brush over it lightly. You referenced there how much obviously it means to you. Do you feel there's that sense of responsibility to, I don't know, I suppose, grow the game over there, or maybe just open, like you say, like the rugby union players' eyes that there is a different path that you can go on? Well, I'm just thinking ahead. You've got a long time left in your career, but is there something where you feel you could add something back home to help, I suppose, pathway route? You see with football all the time. I had a mate from Ireland that seemed to him and like his friends were sent over to West Brom, the football, So there must be some kind of pathway that can be created. The same as like now we're getting overseas players in Super League clubs. There's got to be a pathway, surely, because there's players like you that are over there that are going from the game, aren't they? Not playing. So do you feel there's a responsibility from yourself to be able to, for the blood of the game, for what you talk about in your responsibilities you put on this earth to share this story, share the message? Could you do something like that?
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't feel a personal responsibility in the sense of like a pressure to do so. I feel like if I walk this path correctly, I feel like it'll be maybe a natural occurrence that I help grow a game. But equally, I don't feel like there's no pressure for me to perform in the sense like I don't feel like I owe it to people to carry the responsibility of growing the game back home. I feel like if I do my job and listen, if I become a fantastic professional, have a long career, that in itself grows the game back home, because the more I can share with you two and share my story and share where I come from and proves to people that it can be done. Because at the end of the day, actions speak a lot louder than the words. If I can actually go and do it, that's more empowering than me just talking about it, you know. But equally, the game has to grow in Ireland. It's 40 minutes across on the fly. Everybody loves going there. If there's a team in Dublin, if there's a team somewhere, everybody would love it. Like imagine Magic Weekend in Dublin.
Oh,
Do you know what I mean? Everybody be going. Everybody be going over. It'd be great track. You'd go, you know, the day trip where you'd spend one night. You'd get to see everybody go around Dublin. It'd be unbelievable. And then that's how you grow the game. But at the minute, like obviously, things have got a lot better since I started playing Rugby League in Ireland. But there's still so much room for improvement. And at the minute, for what I'll do is my responsibility is to perform as a professional and share my journey. And then everyone else would take care of that. And then maybe when I retire, I'll go into growing the game. And that's that. But I think one of the biggest things is that I just focus on sharing my journey and proving to people that yeah, you can do this. Do you know what I mean? And if you're permanent enough, like that's the case. But there's no pressure. There's no pressure from anyone back home. But I will continue to fly the flag high if that kind of makes sense.
yeah, no, it completely does. Did you ever had any like conversations with Brian Carney? Obviously, is there no connection there in terms of he must know that you're the next Irishman coming through on that, waving that flag like he did. Obviously, he went over to the NRL as well, didn't he? We'll touch on to your sort of like journey over to Australia as well, which I know you speak fondly of. But yeah, is there any connection there to him or?
Yeah, well, me and Brian have had a few conversations. Obviously, Rugby League's a small world, so we cross paths with people. Then we actually did a promo for the 21 World Cup, which was up if we played 22 together. And I make note that this year again, Super League season, he's always commentating, and that's where the cross paths even further. But yeah, he's obviously monumental in the game. Like everything he does right now, being from my own fullness, it's mental really that he had the success he had. Like honestly, if I could follow in the footsteps of that'd be absolutely insane.
No, I love that. It's definitely something, as you say, you should be that you're obviously immensely proud of, and it's quite a unique journey, obviously, compared to the, I suppose, stereotype pathway program that league players go through, you know, to sort of NRL now. And we sort of like touched on it there, but talk to us a little bit about that journey of coming over here, obviously going to the Giants, and then how you ended up at Canberra.
Yeah.
In Australia.
Oh man, well, how do I start with that? It's a bit of a whirlwind of a journey, so I'll try to keep it brief because I feel like I'd be like, I'm always going on about this, but it's the truth. Like it's my life. Do you know what I mean? It's what I went through, and when I was I found out, like I decided I wanted to become a professional rugby player from about the age of 14, 15. I was never a gifted player, never the strongest, fittest, fastest, but I just loved the sport. I loved the sport, and about 15 years of age, I decided, right, I have to leave Bradford. Where I'm from is not big rugby union town, and I said I want to put a transfer in. I want to chase the dream, playing Six Nations, play for Leinster, all the usual stuff. But I felt like I couldn't do it at Bradford. You know, we hadn't lost it. We hadn't won a game in 3 years straight, mate. I was in tears. I was literally gutted. Boy, horrendous. And listen, the lads just said, mate, we won our first game in like 2 or 3 years, and there's a video of me, and I'm literally
here, isn't it?
Mate, I'm literally in tears because we won. Imagine that, mate. I would want the team that's like second from the bottom, mate. Like it was like, mate, it was crazy. Like that's how much I cared about it. And we were getting like we wouldn't loot them. We were getting the hammer 50. Anyways, you get the point of how bad we were. And I wanted to do this for a living. I was like, can't do this. We're losing on point. So I put me transfer in to go to the best team in Dublin to attack. And they were like, yeah, we'll have you.
Did you rate yourself at that point? We were thinking, quite is sometimes that's daunting, isn't it? You know, as a younger lad,
yeah,
going to the best team, thinking, not good enough for them, I don't think. Did you rate your chances there?
Yeah, well, I knew one of my coaches always said to me, you surround yourself with champions, you become a champion. That's what he always said to me. Now, I didn't rate myself necessarily just because, like, I trialed out for North East and Leinster. So, like, let's say you have Yorkshire, Lancashire, West Yorkshire, Keith. You trial out for them. I didn't even get picked for that. I made it to the last round of the drop. So, in my head, I was thinking, if I can't even make the North East of Leinster, who am I to say I'll be a pro rugby player? I'm telling everyone I'm going to be a pro rugby player, and they're like, you can't even make the North East of Leinster. Do you know what I mean? So that was like when I drew the line and said, right, I can't make the North East. The team not playing for, like, awful. I'm going to go to Clontarf. And the branch, so the whole Leinster branch would be the equivalent of, I don't know, like the RFL.
Yep.
The Leinster branch blocked me transfer. And they said you can't transfer to Clontarf. So you can either move school, move house, or take a year out. Now, 15 years old, I don't have much choice in what school I go to, where I live. You know, I can't say, Ma, right, come on, pack up that you would buy €1 million house there in Clontarf. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not happening. Like, where I'm from, Balbriggan, it's not like Clontarf. It's Clontarf's way posher than where I'm from. So anyway, I take this year out. And during this year out, I play Gaelic football. I'm smashing the gym. I'm playing hurling. I'm doing everything. But playing rugby, I'm pecking me ma's heads and get me a rugby ball into the hands. And she's like, oh my God, this fella. Like, well, then I'm probably 16 at this point. And we come across this rugby league crap. And I'm like, right, let's give this a go. I only knew NRL because of, like, Sonny Bill Williams, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, and you see, like, NRL clips, but I thought the NRL was in all. So I didn't even know there was a Super League. Yeah. And, Linked Ryan on Bradford, never heard of it. Like, didn't know it was Super League.
Did you literally hear nothing?
Nothing. That like, I don't think people quite understand how it does not exist. Now, it literally doesn't exist in Ireland. Like, I would have never heard of that in my life. Like, if you asked anyone from Balbriggan before I started, like, 90% wouldn't have heard of it. The other 10% would be in maybe their 40s or 50s when, when Bradford were on the top, but like, it was on BBC and Bradford won it. Like, that was the last generation who knew rugby. You know what I mean? Like, when he could do the rugby union versus rugby league game. Yeah, stuff like that. I went, like, so, like, my stepdad's nearly 60. He knows St. Helens, Wigan, Bradford from, like, do you know what I mean? That's 40 years ago. So, like, people my age never knew rugby league.
So you're at home, it's Friday, Saturday night. I suppose that's how small, I'm not saying small-minded people are, but how tunnel vision, especially like this sort of M62 corridor, which you obviously know about now, but it's sort of like, oh, well, we know rugby's on Thursday, Friday, possibly. I know his games obviously stream now, which is a lot better, but like, would you go home, like, not to assume you had Sky Sports for, would you just ignore it, like, when it was on Sky Sports?
Yeah, well, look, listen, I wouldn't have even known to watch it. You know what I mean? Like, that's how oblivious I was, like, and then, like, obviously, when you're a bit younger, you're not necessarily watching every game. Like, I'd watch any Super League that's on now, I'd watch, but like, when you're younger, you're not necessarily watching that. But I'm watching Ireland and the Six Nations. If not, I'm watching Leinster, or I'm watching, like, stuff in Australia, Super Rugby in Australia. Do you know what I mean? Rugby Union that's on. I'm watching Saracens play. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm watching. I'm not watching, like, Leeds versus Bradford or St. Helens versus Wigan. I'm watching Saracens Harlequins. Do you know? I'm watching Sale Jacks play. That's my world. So anyways, I end up, I say, my neighbour's like, there's this rugby league crap going on. I go, right, well, I'll give it a go. Like, I didn't know much about it. Rock up the training session and what's the name of the amateur peak? And they sort of laughed and said Ireland under 17. So it was either,
you feel like I'm an international.
Yeah, I was a top guy. So what's the crack here? So I'm either an international, or underage international, or I'm not playing. Okay, so well, whatever. This is mad though, because to me, like, it's so cool. Because all I wanted to do was, like, play at a decent level. And like, me and all me mates, like, 5 of me mates all did this rugby league crap. So we all wanted to leave our break. We all wanted to play. And we're all playing together. And we're playing against Wales. So we have a 2-game series against Wales. And we play both Wales home and away. And Josh Clueless is at Warrington Ness. This is how small the world is, how coincidence was. He didn't get picked for England scholarship in the first year, so when he was under 15. Yeah. So he has Irish heritage. So he came over maybe also, like 3 years up in under 17. So Josh was over, and his uncle did a little bit of agency work and that. So Josh came to play, I play, and I played pretty well, like, in all fairness. And then, anyways, that bees and goes, I get the transfer, I start playing it from Tar, and I'm rugby union, like, I'm going to make it. And I was playing, like, I would say I was playing significantly well at the best team in Dublin, and not, like, the phone was dead. Nobody gave a shite. Do you know what I mean? I just scored 8 tries in 7 games. Who cares? Like, no, I'm not
You're
even
drinking lenses.
I'm thinking surely I'm killing it here, like in my head. And it was not to be arrogant, but like I was playing good rugby, and then not even a head will turn. And then I'm coming up to my exams, and everyone was telling them that they was young at this stage. So I'm telling people I'm going to be a professional rugby player. I'm 17 years old. I haven't got no contract. I spent the last summer working in McDonald's. Do you know what I mean? Literally, like I'm literally baking Big Macs. I'm telling about what you said the tube mate. That's mental. Like I'm working full time in McDonald's over my school holidays, trying to fund this. I'm trying to fund all these trips to go to play Wales and Cardiff. Like they don't fund themselves. Do you know what I mean? They have to pay for my boots and my protein and that. I'm not in an academy. I'm not a professional rugby player. You are in fact flipping burgers in McDonald's. That's what you're doing. So you're telling everyone you're going to be a pro rugby player, and you're making big bias. A little bit different, isn't it? But anyways, I'll go into
Ronan. You're saying at that point, I'm going to be a professional rugby player. Yeah, you probably say people are sort of, yeah, all right then, Ronan. But are you so tunnel visioned at that point that that is it's not like a dream anymore? Are you believing that is going to be happening? Yeah, so what? You're 17.
As I said, yeah. At this stage, I would have turned 17 over the summer. I won't. I started playing rugby.
That's so how you spoke there about how sort of determined you were gonna. I reckon there's lads in scholarships and academies here that don't even think like that. So mad that you were like almost programmed by that point, self-programmed as such maybe that was going to happen. Can I help, mate?
I was still it was delusion, but it was. Exactly. I literally spoke it into existence. Like back then, most people that age start drinking, you know what I mean? They start going to parties, they start earning a bit of money. People are thinking about money, they're thinking about what they're gonna do in college, you know what I mean? They're thinking of girls. I didn't drink. I just kept saying, I'm going to be a professional rugby player.
No interest in uni.
Well, my mum wanted me to go. And I was very don't get me wrong. I was very gifted in school. I was very clever. I was the head boy in school. I was very, very gifted in school, and I was very intellectual, like naturally. But all I was saying is I'm going to be a professional rugby player. So I'd all that summer when I was playing rugby league. I'd get up, go to work, go to the gym, go to McDonald's, like walk all day, and that was it. Like I was on a mission. Do you know what I mean? And so I got my transfer, and I started playing rugby union. Phone's completely dead, and then I'm almost in my final year still. So people are starting to tell me, like, be real. Do you know what I mean? You need to go, do your college application. I'm doing my UCAS, I'm doing my CAL back in Ireland. And people are telling me to do it, and I'm still saying I'm going to be a professional rugby player. And the people are rightly so. They can say be real because what did I have to prove that I was going to do it? Because I didn't. I had nothing. Like I was literally just saying it. No one from where I'm from has ever even properly made it. Like there's a few lads. Like there's a bloke called Eitzel was from my camp, but like he was a gifted kid, and he got pulled out of Balbriggan and sent to private school to play with all the private school because he was good. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like and listen, like that's what happens to the good player. No one really has made it the way I did. So I'm telling people this, and then about February time.
So I feel like past uni stage now.
No, I'm still 17. I'm still 17, so I'm in my final year of school. About February time, I get the phone call, and Josh Jonas' uncle Kieran says, you and 3 of the lads are going to go over to Huddersfield for the week during your midterm break. So it was more just sort of a go over, see what an academy's like in England, see the difference in your standard, and then like the next year when you play for Ireland, in the European Championships, you'll be a little bit better, and you'll have an idea of like how to bridge your gap. So myself and 3 other lads go over to Huddersfield for the week. So I'm
Huddersfield.
It was unbelievable. Like I was like, yes. Like I'm that level of going over to like a Super League. Like this is like you know how buzzed I was. I was like, this is unbelievable. Like, this is the dream. Do you know what I mean? Finally getting the door open that much.
Yeah,
mate, I was literally buzzing. Like that was all I had. A week in Huddersfield. So me and 3 other lads are going with me. We go over. We train a bit with the Super League. Rick Stone was the coach of Huddersfield upon it. They trained a bit with Super League. We trained with the academy. We went to watch Bradford Halifax. Also, we went to watch Huddersfield Academy play. Like it was the middle of February, so weather was worse than this much snow. Like it was madness, but we were buzzing to be in Huddersfield. That was the best trip ever. That week goes by anyway. Back to Ireland. At this stage, I quit my job in McDonald's because the mother was telling me knuckle down for the school exam. So yeah, I'm focusing on studying. Like everyone's telling me, right, the dream's gone. Do you know what I mean? This was February time, and then you do your exams in Ireland in June, and it was probably a week or two before me, not 3 weeks before my exam started, phone call came in, Huddersfield want you on a 3-month trial. So like not just a week anymore, like an actual trial. I'm going on trial, the Super League Academy. Like those exams, I didn't care anymore.
Yeah. Let's don't you know at this point. Is it the same guy?
I think it was there. I think it was Kieran phoned me or Andy Kelly up at the I can't remember who phoned, but then it came, the message came in, and I'm ecstatic. Like I could not believe that this was the case, that I was going to get a chance to like go over, and it was a trial, like it was literally a 3-month trial. So anyway, my exams finished, and it was the next day or two, my bags were packed, and I was playing to Huddersfield. Now I wrote,
See me again.
yeah, that's it. See you later. I arrived from Huddersfield, and I am obviously buzzing, and I'm on trial. I have no idea what's going on because I'm 17 still. Like I hadn't even turned 18 yet. I'm in a foreign country, in a place I don't know, with a lot of people I don't know, playing a sport, quite frankly, I don't know about. I'd only played 5 rugby league games in my life at this stage. 5. So I'm not like 5 games full stop. Not Arlington, just I've only ever played 5 games to live. And I'm on trial at Super League Academy.
Did you not even know like some of the rules, know some of the detailed rules? So you're still a bit like learning them as you were going on.
I dare say I'm still running the rules now. I'm finding out something different now. I'm finding out something different now this season. Sure, never mind when I got there. I'm just like, what's going on? I'm just. But the beauty of then was I was so ignorant to the fact that I didn't know anything. And ignorance is bliss, because once you start knowing that you don't know stuff, you start thinking about the fact you don't know stuff. And when you start overthinking, then you get in your own head. But I couldn't be in my own head because I actually didn't know what I didn't know, if that makes sense. I was just oblivious to it. So, that's how it did.
Was your mum supportive of that at the time? So obviously, I know she spoke about the uni thing.
Yeah.
She's supportive when you got that phone call from through. But
Well, she was ecstatic that I got the chance to live my dream. But equally, she sent her only child at 17 years old across the farm to a foreign country to go live in like a house share with people who, like, she doesn't know. Or, like, I'm still only young. I'm not getting paid for the trial.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So she's sort of like, obviously this is your dream, and my mom's the most support person on earth, and she says go and do it. But I'm like, equally, as a parent, you're going throwing your kid across the water into a trial in a place you don't know for no money in a sport you know nothing about. That like this is like a 50-50 chance, and I have offers for the best universities in Dublin, for the best universities in England, and I'm saying I'm going on this trial for no money. So like you can see where there's a bit of resistance. Like even though my mom would probably not like to admit it, that's always going to be there because she's thinking, is he a bit mad? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like you be like, and that's just like that's the generation that she's from and where I'm from. If I go to uni, I get a good job, I have a stable income. It's a normal train of thought. As I said, I was collusion. So I'm that.
Like I said, it was bliss ignorance, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Lad to go in at that point. Did the other lads go as well, or were it just?
Well, no, just me. So I'm the only one who gets it on this trial.
Yeah.
And I'm on the trial, and like obviously I'm figuring it all out. And about a month in, Robbo says to me, "Right, you're playing your first academy game."
It's Luke Roberts.
It's Luke Roberts, head coach now, which is again at their full circle moment. So I played my first game against Newcastle, bottom of the league. We thumped them. It was grand, whatever. Like figuring it all out. But like I was athletic, but I didn't know really what I was doing. And I was still carrying ball with head first into contact like you do rugby. And I'd be looking over and that. Like it was a bit mad. And the trial goes all right, and I managed to play. I played like 4 or 5 games throughout the summer after the Warren trial because I had to break up for a week to go to Serbia. I could play for Ari in the European Championships in the under 18s level. So then I trial finished up at Huddersfield. We got to the semi-final, played against Wigan, which was again I'd only played against bottom teams. I played against Wigan Academy, who went on to win it all, and also that whole team pretty much played Super League. So it was absolutely stacked. And then they called me in and they said, "Right, Rowan, we're going to give you a contract." Man, my life had that was like a professional.
Don't mind how much it was.
Yeah, confed with it, but I tell you, it was £5,000, so it was not a hell of a lot of money, but sure, look, that's what it can't be.
Reference for people that don't, that's a year's salary.
A year's
£5,000
to play academy. I was buzzing, man. I was over the moon. So I was absolutely buzzing, and it sounds so daft, but like that's what you get when you're academy. You're 18 years old, mate. You're like, that number doesn't matter. That's a professional academy contract. To me, I was like, oh my god. Like I came over here with a mission of getting that academy contract, and I got the academy contract. So life was complete to that stage. Unbelievable. I was buzzing, and then that off season, I get named in the extended squad to play in the World Cup qualifiers 2018. So I've played 5 games back home in Ireland Rugby League, 5 of the Canberra games, 10 total Rugby League games. We'll make 12 at this stage. And I get named in the extended squad anyway. I get called into men's senior camp. And then we have a 3-game series against Scotland, France, and Wales. And first game Scotland, Stuart Littler's coach at the time pulled me in. He goes, "You're going to be on the bench." I was like, my head, mate, I was like, geez, this Rugby League cracks straight, innit? I'm thinking, I played for my country. I'm going to sign a cabinet deal. I know I'm on the bench to make my Ireland debut, my senior man Ireland debut at 18. I'm like, no. It screws out of this crap, innit? At this stage, nothing can go wrong. What's wrong for me? Like, everything that I'm doing throwing at the goal, like, you know.
Is your head turning at that point, thinking, I could be a professional in this rugby? You're starting to understand that rugby league is a professional sport. You can be paid a decent sum of money if you're artist, a player. Are you thinking, I could make it a professional rugby league player? Or, in the back of your head, are you thinking, do you know what? I got myself in a window here. Some of the Irish bloods, just say Leinster, for example, or Ireland Rugby Union, are you thinking, oh, they might see me and know that I'm Irish, and then they might take it back and go back to Rugby Union? Did that ever cross your mind?
Well, a little bit, of course, like, but I don't even know if I was pinking, to be honest, that much. I was just like in this world. Yeah, it was mental. It was just a whirlwind. But yeah, obviously, I always thought, like, I was like, right, at the end of this academy, outside a year academy, I was like, if this doesn't work out over here, I need to try to get a Rugby Union deal or something. Because like I hadn't fully immersed myself, like, I wasn't like an outright Rugby League player. I was a Rugby Union player learning to play Rugby League. So I ended up getting 3 caps for Ireland over that off season, and then all third-year academies at the time, because academies used to be under 19, get a full Super League pre-season. Yeah. So that 2018 was my first Super League pre-season. So I'd only trained with Super League while I was on trial. But now I was getting a full pre-season under my belt, and that was a gift. Like, that was a gift from God, really, that I got a full Super League pre-season. With, like, at 18 years old, obviously I was on an academy contract, but it didn't matter. I was getting that full experience, and then luckily, thank God that Simon Beaufort took a bit of a liking to me, and after Christmas, he said, myself, Ross, and one other lad, they stayed training with with Ross, the football, yeah. Exactly, yeah. So we're gonna stay training with the first team. I was buzzing, so I did that. That was success in my eyes, even though I was just battering rat, and I was just getting absolutely flogged, and I was like, just
because about on that, Ronan. Pre-season, what's that like for anyone that doesn't know? Pre-season, everyone talk, it's hard, it's grueling. Like, players seem to look to new clubs. So it's the hardest one I've ever done. What is a pre-season actually like? The length of it, and then when we talk about intensity, what is it? Are the very dark days? Not obviously, literally there are, but are there dark days during pre-season?
Yeah, for sure. And I'd say that first one I did was the worst, because I had no point of reference at this stage. I had no idea what I'd get myself into. No one around me could give me a kipple, usually, if you're around here and you're from around here, someone at your amateur club would have been a pro, and they could give you advice. So your dad or your uncle knows somebody you used to play at Wakey, so you give you a bit of advice. I went into that so blind. Pre-season days, I had that break. You're in first thing in the morning. You might have a weights and a wrestle split, or you might get on the field first. Then you have, as I said, a weights and a wrestle split. You'll be on the roads. You'll be on the skier. Right, the days are long. And the thing is, it feels there's no end in sight because there's no respite, no game. When you have a game in season as a professional rugby player, you might play on a Saturday, Sunday off, bit of recovery Monday, full training Tuesday, off Wednesday, full training Thursday, capital on Friday, play again on the Saturday set. So you're getting a bit of respite throughout the week, and the session intensity slightly drops in season because people are sore and you're prepping for a game. Yeah. But in pre-season, you're making yourself as robust as possible to play a game. So you need to take game day intensity and bring it up a little bit so the body doesn't break on game day. Yeah. But equally, like you said, that there are dark days in pre-season. There's days where you think, oh my God, I have nothing to give today. Do you know what I mean? Do you have to find a way, that grit and determination to get through that? But my first pre-season, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just turning up every day, giving absolutely everything that I got. But like I said, I had no idea what I was doing. So I ended up losing about 5 kilos that pre-season, accidentally. So I finished up the pre-season 95 kilos, and as a front rower, I meant to be a young front rower, and I was 100, and I lost 5 kilos just accidentally. So I wasn't fueling right, and I wasn't managing my body right. I was just knackered the whole time, and I wasn't, as I said, I wasn't fueling right, and you learn lessons from that. But luckily enough, I got to I got to stay on and train a bit of train with the Super League teacher that whole year as an academy player. That, as I said, that was a gift, really.
That's a weird one, because I'm not saying you wouldn't be starstruck and stuff, but just say with a local Huddersfield lads that's going in and then getting into that squad, they probably might be a little bit starstruck, if you like, around them sort of players, but you won't really know them, would you?
Yeah.
Just like you were just advancing through the year groups, really, weren't you, I suppose?
Yeah, I think so. I think that was probably one of the, again, another blessing for me, that I didn't know who anybody was. And that's just genuine. Like, I genuinely didn't know. I knew Huddersfield players because I'd been to watch Huddersfield when I'd come over. But besides Huddersfield, I didn't know who anyone was. When we played academy, someone might look at the Leeds team sheet and go, oh my God, so-and-so's playing. He's a gun. Do you know what I mean? Oh, Wiggett playing, and oh my God, he's playing. Do you know? Or like, whoever it may be. Oh my God, he's a freak. Do you know what I mean? Let's say you're looking at the second hand and go, Lewis Dodge playing, he's a freak. I didn't grow up in amateur playing against these the whole time. So there was 17 men on the team sheet, and I was just running out and playing for Huddersfield. And like, again, I was just in my own little bubble of ignorance, let's say. And all I wanted to do that year was try to get a Super League contract. So I was on an absolute mission again. And as I said, I wasn't on next to no money. That just covered me rent as an academy player. So I had to work on the side. So there was a pallet yard. Do you know Baston's Chicken in Huddersfield? Yeah. Then the pallet yard around the back of that. And one of our old sponsors was the owner of the pallet yard. So he was also a sponsored club. So he looked after me and said, right, I'll give you a job working on the pallet. So I'd get up in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, get the bus from all the way down through Huddersfield, all the way from Huddersfield Town Centre up down to Marsden, get off there, walk to the pallet yard, and be on the tools all day, or until I got the call into first peak. So I'm walking to ring me, Ron, I need you on 13 today. So I dropped the tools, no, into the gap. I was often saying was about, I have to go out, like first team want me. And that was the story of that year in 2019. It was either I was on the tools all day and going to academy training, or I was getting called into first team training. And when I got the call, I was happy. Yeah, I lost not a load of money, but I lost money, but I got to go and train Super League. So that was a weird, but it was an absolute grind. Like as I said, I was up at 5:30 on the field all day, either going to academy training or going to first team training. But that sort of gave me a perspective of this is what it's going to take to breach the gap again of these lads who've been playing this sport their whole life.
Do you think that you appreciate it more now because you did that? You were classed as a professional essentially, weren't you? But you were working alongside training. Do you think you appreciate being I don't know, just an out and out professional rugby league player now? I know you've got your business, but there's that. You got down pallets, get you out of anything anymore, right? Is that the case? Like, do you appreciate it more now?
100%. And I say to them lads every single day, like I say, you can't kill me. You can't kill me because I'm way too grateful for this opportunity. I'm way too grateful for my life to ever take it for granted. Yeah. At the moment, the way I feel is like I'm so blessed. Like what I've been through that's led me to here has actually made me 10 times more grateful for everything that goes on. And when I get to wake up every single day, regardless if I'm sore, if I'm tired, even if I don't feel like it's Sunday, even I don't feel like it's Sunday, and I get to go in, they're a bunch of 30 lads and play rugby league for a living. Like, that to me is like, that's insane. I'm living the dream. And 18-year-old me came over here with the dream of doing that. So the day I take it for granted daily is the day that I need to stop playing. Because I'm exactly where I want to be. And I'm doing exactly what I wanted to do for so long. So to get the call about a job, my head puts that. Do you know what I mean?
Can I ask you a question about, you sort of referenced the academy days, seeing team lineups and things like that. It's been referenced on kind of different podcasts with players before, but does that happen in first team? Just say, obviously everyone knows, say it's Friday night, team list comes out, it's 6 o'clock or whatever. I know they do the 21-man squad before, and obviously lesson down maybe, just the day before or whatever. But on that day, you're on the coach to St Helens, Warrington, wherever. And, if you're in the championship, then you were travelling on a Sunday afternoon, you're in there and you see the team lineup. Do the lads look at it on the bus? Or do you have just no, is it just a case of not looking at it? When you see, just say it's a dual reg became a thing, didn't it? When I'm thinking when you're in a championship, you're going and playing York, but they've ended up with so-and-so from Pull KR and dual reg. Do the lads look and go, oh, God, he's playing today?
I don't know if it's really that. I think it's more just like you're going to do a preview on a team. So you go in with preview.
Yeah.
You might say, well, we're going to get around him, or he has a habit of doing this. You preview their defenses, whether they come up and kill, whether they're sliding defense. Do you know what I mean? And changes to the team has effect on how you're going to play the game.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So the boys do beat the team sheet, but I don't think there's ever a matter of, oh God, he's playing. But there is an element sometimes of their best halfbacks not playing.
Yeah.
They have a 17-year-old kid replacing them. Like, that is advantageous. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, regardless of what you say, you know, if you look at a team sheet and you're going into a game and like you have a young kid playing instead of the star player, that's advantageous to you, whether you like it or not. But I don't think there's ever a bit of never like that sense of, oh God, he's playing. Do you know what I mean? One of the what I call it, the coldest things. One of the things that got me most fired up in the game is you hand it on the team sheet. So the team sheet comes out, the coach or speaker, and I was sat next to George Stafua in the change room. I can't remember who we were playing. Honestly, I can't. But this got me so fired up. Like, and George's. He's a good man, but then he fired up like, and the piece he's thrown around him, and I could not tell you who we were playing. George got it and just scrumpled it up and handed it to me. I knew we won the game then.
Yeah.
Like when I just knew that was game. I just knew we were gonna go win it because like that was like, and you have to be a certain type of person to do that. But like,
If you could sat next to a young lad, tried to replicate it,
No.
she comes out.
that's not me. That's not me. I don't have that horror. George Stafua has that horror. He fit there and done that. I don't have that horror. I'm not scuffling up. Don't teach you. I'm studying it with me notebook. Oh my God. No, that. And I only ever seen it. He only did it once. But when he did that, I just knew we won the day. Like, I was happy. We won the game there. I'm not sorry. But yeah, it was pretty cool.
So, as I say, obviously, we touched on, and again, we could go on with obviously the whole journey. I'm just keen to get on to, obviously, you're in this extended squad, you're training with a. Is it not long after that the Canberra sort of journey comes?
Yeah.
It's also, I know obviously how fond you are of Australia and everything, and what was that about? How have you ended up in the nicest possible way from Balbriggan to Huddersfield? You're living the dream. So then you think, it can't get any better than this. And the next minute, you're over in Australia.
The next minute, it gets better again. Oh, my God. So anyways, after that academy season, I signed my first professional Super League deal. I was ecstatic. That was officially, I'm professional rugby player. So obviously buzzing about that, going to my second pre-season, manage myself a little bit better. And Huddersfield announced this deal that they're going to do, they're going to let players go to Canberra Raiders under 20s. Now, if you look at the academy that I came through with, you have the likes of Don Young, Ollie Wilson, Ida Senior, Lewis. Like, you have all these players that you can choose from to send to Canberra. And I get the call into the office, like, and they say, Ronan Michael, like, would you be interested in going to Australia? I'm nearly thinking this is a trick question. I'm like, yes. Yeah, we want to send you to Canberra for a year. And like I said to you before, I just keep thinking this journey can't get any better. And it just keeps, like, it's like I'm on a hot streak. I just keep winning and winning. They say, oh, you're going to Canberra. They said, what we're going to do now is, because I only signed the 1 year deal, they go, right, we're going to let you go to Canberra for the year.
Did you know what the Canberra were?
Oh, yeah. At this stage, I'm pretty obsessed with rugby league.
Right.
So you're going to go to Canberra for a year, and we're going to re-sign you for the next year so you can come back to Huddersfield. And I was like, so I'm getting a year extension on my contract, and I get to go to Australia for a year. I was like, oh, my God, that's brilliant. I was like, this is the best ever. I was like, well, when's it going to stop? And boy, did the luck stop. But anyway, so I ring the marketer, like, I'm going to Australia. And one man's like, oh my God, he's going even further away from me. Like, you know, he chances. So, and this is on short notice as well. Like, this is just before we broke up for Christmas. So I went home to Griffith, sent my goodbyes to my family, told the lads I'd moved to Australia. You know, with no big fuss of it, you know, no big going away party. And then I got back to Huddersfield, flew over to Canberra. And I got there and I was like, this, like, my life is not real. Like, I had to obviously rip up my lease from my flat, sell my car, whatever. I was in Australia. I'm buzzing. I was an NRL under 20 system. I'm thinking, it can't get any better than this. Like, I'm ecstatic. Like, I'm just a kid from Balbriggan. I was playing rugby league, call it properly for a year and a half, but it had been really 2 years. And I rock up this under 20 system, and I just loved it. Like, I loved every bit about it. The training facility was unbelievable. Like, everyone was buzzing. I loved the life in Australia. It was hot, and I was just like, we're all the way.
Are you doing it with the first team here, or is it just all under 20 stuff?
So I started off with the under 20s, and then you might do like one session a week with the NRL, and then so he was like the head of youth and head of recruitment at Pete Mulholland. He's actually passed away, sadly, a few years back, but he was an absolute legend, looked after me so well. And he pulled me into the office in a Canberra and said, Ron, like, you've been going pretty all right. Because at the time, I was going well, and I'm telling you, we're going to upgrade the contract. So you're going to do about the front end of the week with the NRL, and then you're going to drop down and finish off the week at the under 20s.
So you get put into the first.
So I'm just going to train, like, so the first couple of days after a game for the NRL will be like a lighter couple of days, and then I'll drop into like the serious stuff with 20s. And so he upgraded my contract. So I'm like, again, I've got my contract upgraded. I'm getting paid to be in Australia. I cannot believe my life. Like, I'm getting paid more to be an under 20s player in Australia than I would be in a first team player at Huddersfield at the time. I was like, this is unbelievable. Like, life cannot get any better. So that happened, and that contract begins, and I'm not even joking yet. I hadn't signed the thing 2 weeks, and COVID hit. So my head is falling off, and it's brutal at the time because you have 2020 hindsight. But nobody knew what was going on over here. In Australia, it was fine, and everyone else was telling me, mate, don't worry about it. Like, you're going to be grand. The comp is still on. And, like, obviously, Italy, it's breaking out. It's all over China. It's going crazy. And my mom's ringing me, like, saying this side of the world is, like, in a bad way. Like, what's going on over there? And I'm like, yeah, I'm living in a house with a load of lads playing rugby league. I'm like, nothing's going on over here. Do you know what I mean? It's grand.
It shuts it off, didn't it, to everyone?
Yeah.
And I think.
And then we're in a week of, like, the sort of COVID thing happening. Comp gets cancelled. NRL gets cancelled. The whole thing's crumbling now. And then I was like, shit. Okay. And my man's like on the phone to me, like, Ron, what you going to do? Like airports are shutting, all the China starting to shut down. Like, countries are closing their borders. And because the NRL fuck, that was like the where they drew the line, because the under 20s money comes from obviously the NRL, the TV product. So all under 20s contracts were null and void. Yeah. And I'd upgraded my deal to train with the NRL, but I wasn't on like a top 30 contract. Do you know what I mean? I don't even know if it would have been equivalent to like a development contract because I signed it later in the year. So essentially, my visa was to play sport, and I couldn't get paid.
Right.
Or they said I can guarantee I would get paid. Now, later down the line, the NRL started back up, and they put them all in a bubble in Queensland. But at the time, they're like, Ronan, you can work in Australia legally, and we can't guarantee you're going to get an income. They said you always have a roof over your head. Like, your housing will be covered. But, like, we don't know where this money's going to come from. We don't know whether this disease is ending the world. Because that's what it was. Yeah. Early days, nobody knew when work was going to start, when anything was going to start again. So we came to this crossroads, which is really unfortunate. But there was a flight back home via Canada. And I have family in Canada because, like, I could have, if I got stuck there, I would have been all right. My mom was happy because she went, you can't go through Asia, you can't go through Dubai. So you get stuck there, you know, it's game over. So I went back through Canada and I got back to Ireland, and the world did come crashing down, essentially. I went from, as I said, academy player, Super League player, training with the NRL, under 20s player, Canberra Raiders, to unemployed. So I'm feeling pretty down the dumps. So I had a contract at Huddersfield for the next year, but I had nothing in the meantime. So I knew I was going to be going back to Huddersfield, but I wasn't getting paid from any of that. And that's when I started. So technically I was unemployed. That's when I was back playing amateur Gaelic football, playing amateur hurling. I was back playing amateur rugby league at open age level now. Because there's open age, I just know under it. So playing amateur rugby league, and I was washing windows and cleaning doors for a living.
So you're talking there's 3-4 weeks between you training with the likes of Josh Fowler.
Yeah.
A little bit of Bateman and stuff.
Yeah, Bateman there, George Williams was there, Josh Hudson was there, a lot of English players at Canberra at the time.
And the others, not Jack Wyden. Yeah, so you're training with superstars of the game. You then learn Boyd. Well, like, that's like complete head basher, isn't it? You're thinking, how 1 minute I'm here, now I'm bored. I'm washing windows. Like, what are you actually thinking there?
Yeah, like my head was gone.
You found the dream's gone?
I don't think the dream's gone, because I knew I was going back to Huddersfield, but there was no end in sight, because at this stage there was a period where Super League wasn't starting up and running. So if you think this happens March 2020, Super League doesn't start back up till August 2020, and the talk about Super League starting back up to start till July 2020. So there's all of April, all of May, all of June, and the lines are dead. So I'm just washing windows, and I'm thinking, oh my God, this is like, what am I actually going to do with myself here? Am I any updates? None. So at this stage, I actually started back training with contact, men's team and under 20. So I'm thinking like, I'm going to be back home in Ireland for a while. Like I don't know what's going on. Like I don't know when the Super League's going to start back up, and I'm flat out washing windows, cleaning gutters. I feel like it's not the best feeling in the world when you go, but it's humbling. It's humbling, and I'm still like, I had a 40-kilo barbell out my back that my old rugby union coach dropped off. I have a 6-kilo kettlebell and a set of bands. So I'm just training every single day. I was training, like running and training every single day. But equally, I don't think I was in the best headspace. Like I was probably drinking more than I ever had in my life. Like, you know, it was like the COVID. Like, it was sunny out there. I was unemployed. What do you do? Or after watching, what do you do? You can't open a bit. That's not, like, that wasn't a good way of being. But again, I mean, like, I probably wasn't in the best headspace after all that.
I don't think I know what.
No, absolutely not. And then I'm up the ladder and I have my Apple Watch on. And I'm not too sure. Yeah. Obviously, the article comes out. Because Super League has set back up at this stage and they hadn't brought me back in. Huddersfield Giants only have 16 fit players for the game this week with track and trace and injuries. And I'm up this ladder and I'm thinking of like, oh my God, this can't be real. So I come down the ladder and I make the phone call. I said, what's going on? I said, he's no one going to be back next year. I said, no one fit to play. Bring me back now. Like, what are we waiting for here? And then that next day, I booked a flight and I was coming back to Huddersfield. So luckily enough, they drew up a little makeshift contract and I got to finish that COVID year at Huddersfield. And that last game of the season against Wigan, one of them my debut behind closed doors. So that was literally the roller coaster of all roller coasters from, as they say, Penta's Shay was like, and then making my Super League debut all in one. Like, how can in 1 year you be playing for Canberra Raiders under 20s, playing amateur rugby league, playing amateur hurling, amateur game of football, and then make a Super League debut all in the same calendar year? Like, it's mental. But like, again, if it wasn't for the window cleaning and it wasn't for that roller coaster, I wouldn't have been so grateful to get the opportunity to come back and make my debut. So I think like that brought me really down to earth, because up until that point, it was only going good. There was no setbacks. It was just one thing after another going well. And that really, really humbled me and brought me down to earth. And I was like, this is what life's going to be like if you don't make this dream a reality. And I think, like, also you look back on your life and you go, geez, if I'd have just stuck it out with Canberra, which I probably could have, like, I probably would have started back playing or something would have happened. But at the time, you think the world's ending, wasn't going to do it. Do you know what I mean? But I have the fondest memories of that experience. And again, getting to separate myself from Huddersfield really made a difference for me, because it just gave you a different perspective. Because up until then, I'd only known Huddersfield. And it wouldn't proceed to be all I knew until I left and went to York. So it's good to change the perspective and sort of see a different environment, see different faces, see how something else works. And I go, oh, okay. Like, there are higher standards in this. Like, I have more to go, and it sort of reset me. And then equally, having to go and window clean for 6 months, 5 months, that just humbles you completely.
What was it like making your debut behind closed doors? Was it still a special? I imagine it took a little bit of them away, but still a massive achievement.
It was huge to me, close to me, but it was so weird.
Yeah,
like, there's no one in the stadium. Like, the ball boys are your teammates that have masks on. There's nobody there. It is the most, like, an empty Headingley is like so weird.
But eerie.
It's eerie, yeah, it's eerie. Like, they rolled the TV in with all messages from my family, which is really emotional. But like, it's as special as it was. Like, usually your family are there presenting you your shirt. It's like, it's nearly like, I feel like, God willing, I get to play Super League again this year, and that'll feel like the real Leo debut. Do you know what I mean? And it'll feel like it's like even more special getting to have them see it. But yeah, it was so bizarre behind closed doors, and that kind of like rugby league in general, like with testing and all, it was just crazy. It was just bizarre.
What a journey! And the funny thing is, it might be just in the start. Essentially, like, you've obviously got so much skill. You just touched on that. Hopefully, getting an opportunity to make sort of a Super League appearance again, which, you've made, what will that be, 5, 6 years ago now?
And 2020, yeah. So it's just had that. 5 years ago, yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about Bradford Bulls then. Start the So putting Super League, you're in the squad. What's going on there? Obviously, I don't think we're not privy to it, and I don't think anyone else is being relatively quiet as such. There's 3 teams coming up. Realistically, what's the goals personally and as a team this year?
I think it's so exciting. I think the 14 team comp is going to be like, nice. It just makes it thrilling, doesn't it? There's less league fixtures. It's super exciting. And having the Bulls back, obviously, I'm extremely biased, but like what a team to have back in the Super League, like and a history of such success. Like, and I'm just grateful to get to be a part of it. I get to be part of the team that got the Bulls back up, essentially. In terms of like for myself personally, for me, it's like I just want to be the best version of me and enjoy the process of getting better. Because regardless of what people say, as a young kid in the Super League environment, when I was very oblivious to like the level that it actually takes to play week in, week out Super League.
Yeah.
Again, sometimes when you're 18 or 19 training with the Super League team, it seems so far in the distance that you could actually be playing week in, week out that you sort of forget like how much goes into it. And now that like I feel like having been on the journey that I've been on, I'm so much more prepared to give it my all. And that's something that I'm really enjoying at the moment, is walking through that process of training, making mistakes, learning, getting better. And that's the thing that I enjoy most, that iteration on my game and having that full-time environment to sort of sculpt me and shape me into the player that I can be. Because all it is, the only difference between part-time and full-time is you have so much more time full-time to work on things, to show videos. Like you're there all day, essentially. It's your full-time job. Like where in the championship at times, like even though Bradford last year would have been on the closest in a full-time day, you only have a limited time space after the last
like restricted. Yeah, you've made that mistake, and it's like, how do I get better? And it's almost like that times are out, you go, and then it's back in on Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like it's interesting you say that, because obviously now into that full-time sort of environment, you've then got players that are coming in that have always been part of that full-time environment. So it is essentially like the building back into that Super League stand again. I think a lot of people were surprised to see Bradford back in it, but the history of people that did see them go through that sort of like the dynasty, if you like, of them being that Bradford team from well gone. So you were watching rugby league, but you'll know all about it now of how good that team were, the players that were attracted. And there's no reason why Bradford can't get back to that. Obviously, the city they've got. I just hope it goes really well. You know the Bad Boy Chiller crew?
Oh yeah, I do. I see that. I think that's belting. I think it's belting. Like I listened to the Bad Boy Chiller crew when I first got over here, like when I was like 18, and I thought, "Hey, were these kids?" I was like, "They're crazy." Do you know what I mean? And now I think it's so good that they're opening like our first home to him. I just think like, what an event that'll be, and I think it's class. Like I think it's so good, right? Catalan there with
we were saying, imagine just being like the odd few rogue Catalan fans, like stood there like.
And what is going on here? Who are they for? Who are these like trappies? Like, what's going on?
Mate, obviously, what a journey to this point, and we could easily go on for forever about different things. I'm just conscious of, you do a lot of work, obviously, on like obviously your own YouTube channels and platforms, and really trying to share that message of how I suppose you can help other people as well. But just giving that perspective of what it's like for a rugby player, professional, and what that looks like. No, it's obviously putting more and more for the moment as well. I want to touch on so where we are at the moment in terms of coffee. What's coffee to you?
Jeez, mate, there'll be water. As people know who know me, I'm obsessed. Like I'm obsessed with coffee. I think it's like, for me, coffee is the social aspect of rugby. Like I think like I got into coffee when I was really, really young.
What did I start on?
What did I say?
Rappuccino.
No, so I used to have a caramel macchiato, but like, as long as I can remember, my mom's a big coffee drinker, and as long as I can remember all my family, like if we were walking around Canada, it'd be stop at Starbucks. Like coffee would all be integrated into all of my family. Like everyone would drink coffee, and then I started off with caramel macchiatos, and I just drink French press, French press coffee, and then when I was in school, I'd just bring the instant granules, and I'd have that in my locker. And between
like in pastel.
Well, yeah, when I was like 15, 16, and like that was just pure for performance in terms of I'd be tired between class after my break because I've had my big chicken, breast, rice and broccoli on my break, and then it's wham a load of that into my mouth, swish a bit of water, and then crack on with the day. Do you know, coffee's always been a part of it, and then like as of late, I've become obsessed with like specialty coffee. I've dove deep into it, and I just like, oh, I love coffee. I'm obsessed with it. It's a social pattern. We don't really get to like we enjoy a beer, but you can't drink to socialise that. Imagine every time after training we were having 10 pints. Do you know, we wouldn't be very good at rugby. Do you know what I mean? So you can sit down with the lads, have a coffee. It's during the day. It's social. It's just to me, it's the best thing about like life is being heavily caffeinated and pretty act up about it. Do you know what I mean?
You've mentioned obviously like it's one of your passions, if you like, now of how I don't know whether it's that the places that you go to, is it what makes a good coffee, like, you know, or is it just the people you're surrounded with within them place, or can you just go sit by yourself and quite happily grab yourself I'm assuming flat white?
Flat whites, strictly. Strictly, yeah. No, I think it's a combination. Like, I've really dove into what makes a good coffee now, and I've actually done I've been recently doing some roasting lessons and hand my own machine. Or to you send me some beans as well. But I'm really interested in what makes good coffee in like the origin of coffee, the roasting and that. But then like I bore the lads to death talking about that. So I just say this is a good bean water hole. This is where we're going. We're having a social. But that's the thing I enjoy. Like that's my way of socialising. That's what I enjoy doing. I love finding new spots. Like I love a new city. Go find a new spot. Like that's my way of traveling. That's my way of seeing the world as well. Is like if I go to a different country, I want to find the cafe when I enjoy the mission of finding good spots. You know, and that's what like I'm heavily passionate about, and hopefully, like in the near future, I can bring out a business that involves coffee. But I won't speak too much about that now. Well, I feel like that's something that I'm really passionate about, and hopefully, in the near future, I can launch something like that.
Love that, mate. And I suppose just to kind of wrap it up, as I say, we could just go on forever. Obviously, so much to talk about. I just want to talk about. You mentioned earlier on about sort of like reflecting on sort of your own performance, like you've, I suppose, matured throughout the process of being a rugby league player. What was that journaling and reflection and how you prepare yourself every day? Are you quite routined in terms of you for this process, or is it just a case of like these are the things you enjoy doing and I just carry on doing it?
Yeah, great question. I think the best way to put it is enthusiastic discipline. I feel like that's the best way to sum me up. It's like I'm very disciplined in how I conduct myself in terms of food I eat, the way I train, but equally, I just love enthusiasm. I love like being not chaotic, but being energetic and enthusiastic about training and about life. In the past, I found myself so strict with my routine that I actually played worse, which is mental, isn't it? But like, say for example, when I left Huddersfield and I was playing week in, week out in Championship. Say I went for a pre-game feed and then that dinner I had a salmon, rice and broccoli. Then that was on the list. And then I had a yoga. Then that was on the list. Then I had a beetroot chop. Then this list was like this big. And I had to do, my day before a game was the opposite of chill. It was like I had to do all these things to take this box to still play 20 minutes off the bench. What was the point in that? So now I feel like I'm enthusiastically disciplined. Yeah. I'm strict with myself. But I don't let it dictate to my life anymore. Do you know what I'm saying? If you watch my routines or how I go about my life, like I am strict, but it's not the end of the world. Like I don't feel so heavily reliant on the fact that I must do X, Y, and Z in order to perform.
There's not that sense of anxiety, you know, if you miss out a particular step.
Exactly that, and there's no anxiousness about it because at the end of the day, like I've been given this gift from God, the ability to play in rugby, and I could play rugby. If you hand me a ball right now, it's game day and your life depends on you need to play. I could play. That's just a fact. So if you don't, like if the bus is late and I don't get to do my full prehab, there's a crash on the 62, like there always is at Tuesday during the season. The past me and the immature me would have not been able to deal with that, or it would have been in my head up until my first touch and I go, did I prep right? Do you know what I mean? Oh, like my prehab wasn't on point. Whereas now I'm enthusiastically disciplined. At the end of the day, I can sweep all that and just turn up and do what I need to do. Because at the end of the day, it's a game that we play and we know. And the ability to just play the game and get dead present in the moment, that's the most important part for any athlete. Not to worry about how because you can do all the training. You can do everything right during the week. and you can still play absolutely horribly. And equally, you can have the worst week of your life when, like, I had weeks where, like, everything be coming down around me, like, and I was managed to turn out okay. What?
You've done it at a blind.
Exactly, and he brought out another blind, and you look at the, like, Austin, the lads who could just switch it on and be more present, and they don't overthink it. They're the best players. Do you know what I mean? They're not worried about anything, they just go out and do it.
Love that. And then just to finish, mate, some quick fireballs. We've got to throw them in there.
Let's go, come on.
Best player you've ever played with?
Best player. Oh, you're making me think straight away. I thought it was meant to be quick fire. Luke Keary.
Luke Keary. Best player you played against?
Joey Manu. Let's go.
One thing that you get rid of from rugby league, that can be hard to be.
Scrums.
Scrums.
Waste time.
Do you ever push it then?
What's the point?
Just if you're behind and it's there's a bit of a chance. 94 pre-game meal.
And Nando's. I always get Nando's day before game. 8 years in advance.
What's the order?
Usually half chicken, chips and rice, to be honest. But that's what I view. But I've been smashing that for 8 years. Do you know what took me this far?
What's your cheat meal?
What's my cheat meal?
Oh, dirty cheat meal.
Oh, I like Five Guys burger. You know, Rudy's Pizza. They're right. Oh, I'll beat that.
The chili, honey.
Hot honey.
Yeah,
Rudy's Pizza, honey, Garrick, Lee, my dog.
It's opposite planes, isn't it?
Yeah, Leeds. The few in Manchester. That's my favourite cheat meal the whole time.
Hey, very cool.
And you know, M&S chocolate chip cookies. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Mate, they're crazy. Mate, I don't know what they put
On the go.
Yeah, that's exactly right. 20 seconds in my way. Good luck, mate. My 5-pack gets deleted, mate. That's why I can't get the pack because the 5-pack gets deleted if I get them. So they just do one of them on YouTube. So like guys, mate, honestly, that's why they don't get bought back. They go straight away.
Copy order would pretty up for you. Copy order, what we were saying.
Flat white, always.
Just what?
No, 5. Nothing in that. I'd say I'm averaging about 3.6 a day at the moment. We got a new machine of training, so the poor team, mate. Honestly, I feel bad. Do you get a break?
Might just have to service it once in a while.
Mate, if it lasts a season, mate, I'll be blessed.
Have you been responsible?
I'm responsible, mate. So if that thing blows up, my head's on the total wall. Mate,
Let's do it.
I'm telling you, there'll be someone's going to be mad at me if that thing blows up.
Any superstitions? Oh, I know we've been through a few, but is there any sort of in particular changing rule or anything like that?
I used to be very superstitious, and it's gone. It doesn't exist for me anymore. As I said, the list used to be endless, so I had to put this certain peril. I literally used to wear the same pair of jocks. That's a superstitious I would, mate. It's all gone. I don't believe in any of it.
Yeah, Simpson ones.
Yeah, you know, I mean, all balls that are faded to pieces, mate. Honestly, you just see it as a mess. But yeah, all them are gone. I enjoy me that, like, I'll go to Nando's before a game because I enjoy it. Not like I like socialising. There's no Nando's in France if I'm the end of the world. Do you know what I mean?
Nice. And what about someone from Bradford that you've seen that you think's going to have a big season this year?
It's going to have a big season this year. I think Mitch Shooter is going to be the... Me and he played together at Canberra under 20s. Actually lived with him and his family. And to see the journey he's done to get here now, a lot of adversity as well. I think he's going to be... he's a dangerous player. I'd really hope he has an exciting season.
I think that might be the thing with Bradford. There's a few players there and maybe slightly unknown for those that have not been tuned to the championship before. Coming in could easily quite be a class year. Have you seen how much you cost on Fantasy League? Yeah.
How much do it cost?
On the Super League.
How much do it cost? Truly not the cheapest.
I actually don't know. I'm just wondering because some of the lads surely have had a quick look on there and seen how much it might cost it.
Truly, as long as I'm not the cheapest, I don't really care. I'm not the bottom, the very bottom. Second from the bottom, not the cheapest player. Oh, stop the lights. When that game came out and the lads seen my ranking was on 68, the lads back home were hammering me. They're like, you're being 68 rated. They go, you must be garbage. Some poor kid at Wigan Waste packed me and they're fuming like, oh, pack this fool of fella. Are you joking me? This YouTuber. Why did I pack him? Delete.
And lastly, mate, what does success look like to you in, I'm going to say 5 years' time, but you into how you wish?
Yeah, I don't tend to look 5 years ahead, really. I just look at I look at my days, stack them one day at a time. Success for me if I get to share my journey and continue to be the best rugby player that I can be and share it along that way. Obviously, I have big goals, both for myself and big business, but the most successful thing that I can do is be a good person, a good teammate, and a good player. And how that looks and how that manifests, that's God's plan, do you know what I mean? But I control the output and the outcome will come, do you know? I just worry about every single day iterating on my process, you know, and making little adjustments where I can, get a little bit better every day, because that's all it takes. I mean, you can stack days and stack weeks and stack months, and geez, 5 years from now, God knows what you and I, Australian, are talking about. But hey, I'm just looking ahead to what's going to happen tomorrow. I'll have a good day tomorrow, and then I'll just take it from there.
Awesome. Ronan Michael.
Thank you, lads. Good
So there we go. Another episode of Behind the Name, this time with Bradford Bulls Ronan Michael. All the best for the new season, mate, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. We are sponsored by Noble Coffee as always, so thank you to Noble Coffee, and keep an eye out for the next few episodes being released. Cheers.